Testing, testing. I'll fall asleep. BRB. Logical, the brain. Release your dictator. You dictator. You're one. You do. Da-da. Lose all my runes. Yo. Oh. Where is the giant Neptune? Walking back and forth. There it comes. Pretty sure you lose everything if you die. I don't remember, so I'm gonna try not to die. And time my attack. until I have more knowledge. Wow. Rain, rain, on us. Well, is that entrance or not? Fragments of something. I saw you at the other end. Was it just a dream? Or was there something really there? I had a vision, a dream that you were with me. Yeah. That you were, you're my future, my everything. I had a dream that you were my future. I had a dream. Well, enough is enough. Stop yawning. Is that Santa Claus? Yeah. Strengthening armament. At a smithing table, you can spend runes and smithing stones to strengthen your armament. Somewhere in the way between. So you just spend this shit. There's no point in collecting it, because you'll lose your ruins. Smithing stone. Got a horse. Form of Santa Claus. I'm just gonna talk to Santa Claus.
You're tarnished. I can see it. But I can also see that you're not after my throat. Then why not purchase a little something? I am Kale, purveyor of fine goods. I am of a nomadic people, selling wares as I travel. The land has been tainted by madness since the shattering of the Elden Ring. It's only tarnished like yourself, who keep things from drying up entirely. Let's say you're a very welcome customer. You know, if you can spare the runes, you should buy yourself a crafting kit. A crafting kit allows you to make basic items on your own. Essential, really, if you intend to survive out here for any duration. The kit costs a bundle, and I admit I do take my cut. But the important thing is that you survive. Every customer counts, after all.
So fair. Okay. Interesting. I wish I knew more about this game. Probably like going in blind. This might. I feel like I need a strategy guide to know like, what the hell runes are for. If they're just for spending, stuff because they're probably. They can be converted to currency, but that are a different type of currency, or probably powering something, leveling something. I feel like they have multiple uses, but if you hold on to them and die, probably twice, like Dark Souls, you lose your shit for good. It's perma loss. So, going through all of this, see, I don't really think the game is. See, when you're fighting in this game, so you have to have strength and endurance, because the player can have a mind. Your vigor, your mind, your intelligence, faith, and arcane are more likely probably not going to help much a fight. Depending on what bosses they're against. I just feel like speed and movement and your attack power is crucial against these giant ass monsters. Despite that I am half giant, I think my character is supposed to be. Fallen asleep. Trophy. Game that simple music in the background. I think it's Spotify, right? Yeah, I do have a Spotify. I just don't actually use it on my phone. Or use YouTube music. The cost of high intelligence. Death that brings is the loss of transcend. Transcend. Who needs to think? They're all great if everyone else is stupid. We made everyone dumb. Everybody was dumb. World peace. Not necessarily. Some people are sensitive. Yeah. Every doom leads to something. Every bit of pain. Suffering, the losses of the dream of what the world when you fall asleep, when you fall asleep. Into another realm. When we go to sleep, follow me into the grave beyond. Oh, say, can you save me now? Can you save my soul? Every mindset, every program, every single bit of knowledge that you'll ever know. I can recall my youth singing a song called You May Only Ever Know. Maybe your prison world may program you into nothing but knowledge. You may only ever know. It's like you may only ever know I be your curse of fixation on? They're not stupid. Da 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 da. It's a 26th day. It's a Tuesday. I'm feeling real brain dead, ready to fall asleep and drift into love instead. 'Cause there's nothing more stupider than going full emotions, all heart under the spell. Z. When's the last time you were human? When I eat. Don't eat. Starve yourself. Channel cipher. Siphon filter. That's your problem. You were immortal. What the hell? That's impossible. You're mentally ill. Program initiated. Sequence Z. Program the mind. Set it up for human disaster. Beep 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 boop boop. You will dysfunction. How dare you pray for my defeat? I pray because I'm predator in your mind. What religion is this? I feast upon your brain cells. No more detours. All these things. You know, there's a real problem when you start hitting the follow button 5,336 times. You think I know everyone? Spiritually, sure. Z. I always love like when things pop up on my phone when I'm in public and I'm like holding it out, my hand out, like, and I decide not to look at it for a second, well, physically look at it, but I know it's on the screen. So, and then I was like, pull it up and like, oh look, nudity. Oh look, you know, what's my recommendations? You know, when you get that, whatever it is, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, it depends on the mindset that ends up cringing certain people. There's perks of being immune. And then there's cons. There's cons to the perks and pros to the perks. The pros and cons of the perks of immunity. It's like, you're not very immune. Love will kill us all. It'll kill us all. Love is what makes humanity. Goodbye immortality. You better off never feeling emotion ever again. Go full robot program. Be immortal. Don't do it yourself. Don't let someone conjure emotions upon you. Don't you hate, don't you love, don't do any of it. Turn off those damn emotions. You could be a god, immortal. All you gotta do is be a robot. That's all. Self-programmable robot. Your stability sequence. So you're suggesting that witchcraft is real? Magic? What religion is this? Under God, on a god ship. X my souls and hope to be damned. What are you doing? How many souls are you damning? What the hell? You have souls? wrong with you? You don't think about this shit, do you, when you don't do this stuff? Do you even know what that means? Color yellow means speed! Go faster! No, no. Yes, yes, look. Program initiated. It's like Capitol Hill. What's this line for? Well, I forget. You guys are still... Like some people are still wearing hats. Nice design though. Good luck with that fight for words things on paper enforcement thing you got going on. They even had a building for it. Yeah. Yeah, about that. Crafty, crafty, frequent, sing me a song. Words and feelings, what's your law? My law under this roof says you cannot drink Monster. Excuse me? That's a dictation. I know a roof is more powerful than your dictator waves. You can't drink Monster. Who comes up with a law like that? You need a law? When I was in Santa Monica, someone was extremely sexist and told me that their answer to laws is that laws are for girls. It's like obey. Obey. Sequence program brainwash. What happened to the childhood that when you were just ignorant and, you know, and you had ignorant, just as equal ignorant love that was real, and then people tell you that's not real love, but then you grow up and realize that everyone doesn't have real love, that love is just a program. Who's on top of who? You know, like, this is what adulting is? Raping people mentally? No wonder why they don't, you know, support dumb love. Because they can't have it, they don't let themselves have it themselves. There's all psychological war going on. They forgot what the hell love really is. So we must get married. This will make everything work better. How many marriages later? How do you think that this whole psychological game tool is going to end up? Someone is going to own the brain. Self-dominance, usually. Someone goes stupid first, because when is it that both companions go stupid all at once? You know, and then one's taking advantage of the other. He thinks the lover is going to be there forever. I mean, depends. Like, if you're both nobodies, you got a better shot at this deal. See, there's cons of being famous. Everybody loves you. But all you gotta do is not love everyone. But then again, you're supposed to get people to like you, and when you're casting spells, then you gotta be real, creating your reality under makeup and costume. You ask yourself, who are you at the end of the day? And he says, I'm pretty sure I just cheated on my wife. Mentally and spiritually, perhaps. No, maybe not spiritually, but mentally. I think I cheated on my wife mentally. I'm pretty sure this character. It's like, what? I'm gonna text someone. I gotta be an actor for a moment. Just sit back and let me teleport words across to another dimension. Hi, how are you? You want to go out? Oh, this is a great relationship. I'm married. I'm in a sacred relationship. But I got a teleportation wife too. It's like dual marriages. So cool. That's not real. That's inner dimensions. It's like your virtual, your meta wife. It's like, I don't care if you marry a digital, but if you marry someone else physically, I'm gonna kill you. It's like, excuse me? You can't do that, it's illegal. Oh no. There was a girl who never thought to commit murder, but then she fell in love with someone that was over her age. I was watching this documentary and they seemed alright. The other guy was also playing like a parent figure, had some mental issues, but he also seemed alright. Until they wanted to leave, and the only thing stopping them was was a dictator that was kind of sensed the end, He was scared that he did something wrong, and then he got himself killed or murdered. Without force. And then they arrest them. Do you think they're really the bad guys? Or was it the dictator behind it all? You're not allowed to murder someone if they're dictator. How else do you escape? When you know everything else is going on. No, you don't call the police, or the police let the dictator come back. Do you understand the course that's going to rely on this damn shit, brother? Do you understand how bad the United States is? Do I blame them for murdering the dictator? I don't know. I mean, that's probably all they can think of. They were worried, scared, wanted freedom. And you'll be surprised what people will do under the roof of the United States of America for one of the #1 things that we stand for, which is freedom. So, let them go. Now, if you were a dictator, I would totally disagree. Then I would say you were wrong, you don't kill people. How many people want freedom? Like, for real. And you gotta fight for freedom. Even in the United States, freedom has a price, dollar bill on the end of it. And if the day comes that you can't, if you can't escape without, and the only way you could think of escaping is by killing that person that is keeping you hostage, then that's then the other option that you have is to not kill them and then not know how to escape and still being, controlled so it's like, think about that shit. Clearly they're old enough to escape. Clearly old enough mentally, powerful enough. Prove that they are. Murdered the damn guy that kept him captive. Like, just fucking with him. Her dad or stepdad or some shit. So, I don't have much sympathy for the dad. Personally. Sounds like he had it coming to him, so. Controlling prick. I didn't need to kill anyone because I'm psychological and manipulative and I know how to escape. But they do. They might not have known that. And take that into consideration to the trials of why they went about to murder the. But then again, they had other people in the house too, so concern. You could be leaving people for dead and dictation and fate. Those would know how to escape with similar rules. It's like, would you want to live under the reign of a dictator. Like, even in the US, a household has their own thing. Like, think about that house like it was North Korea. North Korea is kind to its people, too. They treat their people still nicely at times. But they still dictate almost every single damn move they do. In the United States, that's technically not allowed for the most part, unless it's like psychological. And even then, it could be used against the person who is doing this abuse in the household that is keeping them there, you know, as prisoner. So, think about it. What else were they to do mentally with all the siblings there and all this other shit? Call the police makes matters worse. Gambling. So they took things into their own hands. You know, the authorities suck at what they do. It's like time period shit. They know they suck at what they do for the most part. They're good ones, but they still want to help. A citizen arrest doesn't work. Sometimes you gotta murder the fucker. And in the United States of America, if it's for freedom, then you are absolutely in the right. If any probable cause came against the heart as keeping a mind and heart captive under a unlawful reign or rule, then and it came down to the only option of thought was to say, hey, I might have to murder this person to get out of this. Well then, legally, you can. I mean, you will still have to face a lot of expert analysts, but as long as you are honest, and it is legit honest, the experts, like, you know, understand evil, but that's why you keep those people out of the industry that have interest in damning or out of that type of stuff. So it's like you have to look for pro-free will, supporters of free will, because the true evil in the world is dictation. And when you take something away from someone or to punish someone because of your disapproval or judgment, you know, it's just wrong. And the United States knows how important freedom is. So under God, under any rule, all you need is free will as your mandatory law, psychologically, and just watch what'll happen. You'll have a brand new, a better measurement system. You'll be supporting love and free will. That's what you'll be doing. Even if, and you don't murder people unless it's a dictation. It's not like your first choice. It's like you have dictation doesn't really give you much of a choice. See what I'm saying? Like, someone comes into your house, you don't just gun them on the spot. You first point the gun at them and say, get the fuck out of my house. But if they fight to stay in the house, you might have no choice but to fucking pull the trigger. But I don't think, like, as impulse, be like, well, they broke into my house instantly like this, then I should shoot them on the spot. I mean, it's still logically in that you should have the sense to confront them with power, if you have power, which the gun has power in your hands if you know what you're doing, because that has to be taken into consideration too. And then you point the gun at them, they don't go, then yeah, you can shoot them. But like, break in and then shoot someone, like, without impulse thought, is definitely going to have to be taken. It would be questioned. Court of law, or anything in that means, or analytic shit. the words, you know, the words that they'll use to figure everything out. But what about underage dating? Minds? Because that's what I believe it was what was the problem to that particular document that was going on in the documentary is that the father was very resentful, hateful towards that, despite that clearly their mindsets even was way more advanced than even the father's mindset, was far more intelligent. So this is another form of understanding that judgment directly straight up is just an inaccuracy. It's just wrong. So putting a slapping a number on something isn't going to tell you the exact thing. Like this is what it is. It's how it is. It's like when people decide that that there's one explanation to sum everyone up. Like everyone who has a mustache must be a rapist, right? Like it's just not accurate. Or everyone this age must be stupid, you know? So it's like, you know, logically it doesn't work like that. And you take that and free will and dictation, and you have to have science or breakthrough. You have religions, magic. Yes, witchcraft is very real amongst the shit. And geometry, in other words, math and science as well. Different types, formats of languages. Instead of forcing everyone under one damn language. Think about that. Like, there are languages. And even one language has to be, you know, multiple. Because if you don't, you can start programming people. If you're going to do multiverse and you need to have it so tons of people are not getting stuck to one language mandatorily. The only mandatory thing that there must be in existence is the understanding between what is dictation and what is free will, and where the real line stands. What is truly evil? What is the opposite of evil? And, you know, and to understand that free will, you know, and dictation, you want free will. Because dictation always comes down to that. It proves that you could, you know, if under certain pressures, people could be brainwashed into committing crimes or doing things and these other things because of their vulnerabilities. So it's all this programmable shit. So yeah. Very much. And you learn that stuff. You learn that stuff, it's very real. The United States of Neurological Networking is what I call it for all sorts. People that feel pain. I hear often, oh, tattoos hurt. I've had tattoos done. I've done tattoos to myself, and I always try to figure out what do they mean by that, because it's like instantly like I've had it. People say different things, but what it really happens that may not even match the words that they say. Like they might not even think it hurts. Like how many times have you ever bumped into something and then your just impulse was to say ouch, but you really didn't feel shit? You know what I mean? You didn't actually get hurt. You didn't feel anything. It's just like impulse, like, oh, I'm supposed to say ouch. Because it's like, why are you supposed to say ouch? You know, it's like, but did you really feel anything? The answer is maybe, maybe not. But it's like, and then they have this percentage rate within certain doctors that this, what do you feel as pain rate? But then there's the, you know, it's like, you ever have an open wound and then and it just feels more numb in that spot more than anything, and it might be a little stingy at times, but it's like, and that's the only shot of pain you have. So now you have to register what is the number of pain, and then what is their number of pain. what this means to think about it, like, because what you may think is painful, like, what if someone thinks 10 means it's not painful? Like, see what I'm saying? Like, and 10 to them means it's really painful. You know, like, it's, the language there is not met, or it's still like, okay, so what are you talking about here? We have to register this to what we understand. But you'll find that, like, with my experiences in studying psychological, science, whatever you want to call it, with minds, is that they oftenly are just on there's someone or something in their life taking advantage of them, believe it or not, but they'll oftenly say that they're not being taken, like, because they don't know how to take their language, and it may sound like English, but it may not, it's a different variant of English, and they'll take their language and then your language and match to try to figure out what it is, but it's just, in the end, that's what will say, hey, you've got a disability. Meanwhile, they don't really have a disability. The other person on the end, the fucking doctor, could have a disability for, not being able to understand. See what I'm saying? Or the language. It could just be, it's like a language barrier. But you go towards this type of stuff in life, and, like, I've actually been through a lot of it when I was younger, especially, where people would be like, this is what he is, this is what he is, this is what he is. I got a lot of that. This is who I am, this is who I am, this is what I am. And I was not just getting it from doctors, but other people. And guess what? They were like different routes, different pathways, because they all had something different. And how they were saying it could be comparable to, in some, the ambience I noticed, and the tones that when people were using them. But then and then someone, I understand, didn't know their tone, like tone deaf, for example, is like, you have to, that's I guess a real disability you would take into consideration if it's legit. So it's like you could actually be saying and not to be able to hear that. Like, if someone's deaf in their left ear, I don't know, you only want to hear in your right ear, and from Represents Love or something, and you play Matching Blocks there, but you have all this different types of meanings and languages, and having to read through all of this stuff. But playing timeline loop around to try to figure things out, and you have the evidence all played out by the spill of the action that's before you. Like, if it's not cleaned up, it's, even if it is the trail, but you really have to look at the psyche behind the actor and what is causing them to be or have done what they have done, and that will be it will be taken into consideration, but it has to be also, I believe, that when you're in a court of law anyway, what you're given in the court of law a lot of times, like if you were arrested for alcohol usage or something, then you would know that that's wrong. Like, on your behalf, not on on their behalf of being like, well, you can't be drinking that much or something, but this technically is a formula of free will upon yourself. They could be like, hey, we want you to, go to rehab or something, but you're not going to arrest you. You see, the arresting you part would be, wrong on the government. So it's like, so when you look at stuff like this, it's just like, you start to understand the United States more and more and more, like as being here as a like it would be so easy to fall underneath an idea, and I think that you would fall into the idea, and you could be taken advantage of by having that one language if that was the only language you knew, because we don't live in a country that supports only one language. We made it clear that we are pretty much the entire world. The United States is number one country, right? We're the leading country. We're the greatest country on the planet. Kind of takes on a whole life for itself as of languages, as a plural. And it could become very, very overwhelming and confusing for a lot of people. And now you are putting so much trust and faith into translators. Translators are now ruling the United States. Like translators that actually understand this stuff are really the rule makers even. And I'd say to the translators, as being a translator, the number one language that is the most important language above all is free will and love. And anything that goes against dictation, as a translator, to know why someone would commit a crime, to understand the acts and to analyze that person for in which they've done that crime for. My number one thing to instantly be like, hey, I need you to be punished, like you on this end would be punished, would be just if you were the dictator to the situation, or you know what I mean. So it's like, because if not, then everything that follows is also taken for of a crime, because you can also point a gun at someone to be like, get the fuck out. You see what I'm saying? And as if it's I think you understand what I'm saying, I hope, but it's like, and still be like, in fair justice, that you are, doing the right, you aren't in the wrong for pulling up that gun. But there's a lot more to it, though. I mean, obviously, you have a lot to analyze. And this is why a lot of crimes, they have trouble arresting people in the court of law for lack of evidence. Sometimes, because sometimes I think if we got more translators and good-hearted translators, the United States would be a really good place. We'd be able to stop a lot if we changed up shit. Like, when I look at concerts, I can't help not to notice neurological networking. Like, as in, because of magic, I know that there is a influence, and the influence in itself is not natural, because what they are conjuring is ambience and tuning. It is not natural. It's not. I'm not against magic, supernatural influence. I'm against it being used to dictate, though. Like, it could be questionable, like, if you're using it for evil purposes. But then again, you have to really be like, what's evil? And if it's taking free will away. And if it's not taking free will away, then, I mean, we live in a very interesting world, government, mindsets, worldwide. This is not just the U.S. This goes beyond borders, beyond the borderlands, the borderlines of a country, because this is a global skill called neurological networking, brains. Ring a bell? So, which is and you could also bring the world together. Like Z come in for seeds, trigger things, kick in, different effects, why things play out. what they do, like what's your plan, and all this stuff, and sometimes it's easy to jump instantly, I think, for some, where if like you get into a character, and the character's like, well, how do you solve this? What if the mindset's like, we solve it by being more psychological, but what we're doing it for? Like, we're going to psychologically get them, like, take Russia, for example. We blame Vladimir Putin, and meanwhile, you could have a secret agenda behind the scenes. Yes, you could. Camouflage to trigger something. Because think about this for a moment, whether it's happening or not, this isn't a consideration. What if you were feeding a dream? A toxic dream that was a nightmare for many presently. And that you were feeding the nightmares, but also the dream, the nightmares of victims, and the dreams of a serial killer or a mass or someone who wants to rule the world. But you also face an ominous threat of that is constantly shutting you out, that holds bombs nukes strong enough to explode entire countries. Like, what your eyes may go towards, like the marching ground, right? It's like, well, look at North Korea here. You know, it's like they're looking far more threatening than Russia. So it's like, well, if Russia wants to rule the world, maybe or Vladimir wants to rule the world, then, you know, maybe you feed him into to doing something good with that. Despite that he's done evil with it, what if we turn Vladimir into a villain and then transitioned him into a hero? And you see what I'm saying? And then Vladimir, as a hero, was the one who put an end to North Korea's dictation. And we were able to have that scale. And then afterwards, they want to rule the world. So do they, right? Vladimir supposedly might. I think personally he wants my analytics say he wants to be at least a remembered legend. So it's like, I don't think he cares much about ruling the entire world. I think that would be a bonus. But but it's like not the priority, I think, to reclaim this country, but to say, hey, we understand you murdered all these people in Ukraine. You want to make up for the crimes in which you have done and still be free? Do the world a favor, and with your manipulative power, that people are willing to follow you, they claim they're not brainwashed, or whatever, and have them go fight, a real dictator. The seeds. I feel like I'm some sort responsible for brainwashing, like, not entirely, but by giving this information out and what a country could use the info for, the government could use it for, and it makes me think, that in a way I kind of help Russia blow the fuck out of Ukraine, and but then again, it's like, I'm not the one who made that language mandatory, though. So it's like, and then I really, wait, I didn't make it mandatory. That was a dictation on my behalf. Someone still down the road decided to turn it into a dictation. I was just freely throwing it out there. And I tend to forget that that's what I was really doing, was just throwing it out into the ether and it's anyone's game, and yes, someone evil could pick it up, and that is very potential. But it's like, but it's still at the end, it's the dictation that we are really fighting, or should be fighting, the things that take free will away. What if someone owned a big piece of land and said, you're not allowed here? Like, what if someone one day decided to take New York State and say, you're not allowed here, this is our home? So I understand that something personal is there for Ukraine, as Russia has for Ukraine, and it's psychologically for some of the people that are in the mind of Vladimir as ruling, and looking at a painting in a frame and as a card, a manufactured card. You know, you can have a new frame tomorrow. So it's like, you know, it's genius enough to brainwash, to get people to follow you enough. Like, I was in Los Angeles, and I had a lot of people. At one point, I walked down this thing, and I just remember a lot of people were like, I don't know if you've ever been to LA, but people sometimes would be like, oh, you're a god, all hail, you know, or there are preachers out there with this stuff. And instantly, I had this, when I went down the street, all eyes on me, instantly like, boom, this guy's certain things or psychological things or something about me, and that they were like willing to follow me for that moment. But despite, it's like that offer of so much power there, and you know, it's not that I couldn't have done it, it's that I felt right now in the moment was just not right for it. And what am I going to do with an army currently? It's gonna make me look like I'm some damn power messiah way too early in a government that prioritizes money, which isn't gonna get us shelter for. We'd still be out. I'd still have to be sleeping outside, and then I look like shit for sleeping inside while my followers are sleeping outside. So it's like, nah, shut the power off, turn the power off, you know, shut down the army, you know, shut down the military. And it's like, because it's just not right. I had someone say to me, what is it, you're a programmer, and another time I had something say, you're expensive. I've heard the saying, what's the saying? What was it? Oh, you're a politician. I've heard, and I don't jump instantly to think they're, bad usage of words, or they have any, you know, anything bad to them, because that's on me to decide that if those words are bad or not, you know, right? And so it's like, you're this, you're this, you're this, and being easily sensitive to things tells me that there's a, you know, from getting away from the sensitivity, you start to realize that love, you know, raw ignorance on real love, something there dies and becomes artificial in programming. You become an immunity, and it also told me that all emotions could be turned off, and it's a matter of finding ways to do it. It's all programmable, like blame it on food. I don't think it is full programming in this behalf, despite I was accused of being a programmer. I think programming only goes so far. You have a mindset, you have patterns, adjustments, and frequencies that are catered also to your neurons and that connect to your body, and the inflictions of obviously wisdom and life experiences in emotions can play a feeling part of your patterns. Like, if you have had a emotional distressness, you could take that and use it to as a as a energy trade-off psychologically, because I think it's like, as this is the filter, your mind is like is the key, locks everything. It's like lock key to everything. And as you'd be like, oh, your heart is just a lot, is like when you bring the emotion to life, and energy is just coming from your brain, that's kickstarting it. The feelings of chemistry is in the blood flow and in your veins and pumping into your heart. That's getting your lungs to move. That's what you're feeling. That chemistry of emotions. Take that away, the feeling away, there is no emotions. You have just turned yourself into all brains. Like, if that, you literally could be like, you ever watch Vampire Diaries? Turn it off. And I think it would be, yes, it's the death of real love, because all emotions afterwards would become artificial emotions, because we'd start having complete control over our emotions. And it's like, wait a second, is this a bad thing? As evolution or transcendence? Not really, because I feel like, despite it's a bad thing. Like, if you are human, then if you're struggling with the human side of you, from being a psychological mastermind genius over emotions, and then it would be hell. And I find it like, if I let love, the number one emotion, if I let it free, I might have a mess to clean. Your mind gets dumb. It's like I don't think love is a strength to the brain. I think when opiates go up into your brain, it actually creates a stimulus that makes you feel good, but ultimately makes you at least temporarily stupid and vulnerable, because of the measures of this pleasure is like having a one color tattooed in your mind. Like, if you only saw one color for 30 minutes, you are vulnerable in that 30 minutes of everything being that shade. Like, when the hue is completely taken over, and you ever just see all red? That's a format of brainwashing. So it's like, and that temporary, because chemistry, it's just basic psychological aspects from chemistry, from bodily fluids and emotions. like I said, there's something that dies when you go intelligent. And when you are ignorant in all emotions, you are also able to be taken advantage by the intelligence. This is why I think true love has to be protected by those who will never have it. And this sounds fucked up, because artificial love has to protect the real love. But it's like the real love that's underneath the artificial love, or underneath the true love, where ignorance would be, and actions is just the truth. It comes down to that, and it's just like we lose something in analyzing. We lose that in analyzing. I feel like we lose a part of humanity in being so scientific, so analytic, so artificial. And the more we go into something, I do believe that we could be immortal off of this, absolutely, even in very realistic, it could happen, but, and be done. Well, not could happen, it would have to be done, but it's very realistic. It could realistically be done. And, but the cost is love, emotions, like raw, real emotions, I think would be the cost. Well, with my experiences, you lose something, and it's just tragic to say that I can remember falling in love for the first time and knowing that it was real, and it was ignorant, it was stupid, and I was having the best time, pleasing her at times, and then having it so you lose control and not know what is happening, because with wisdom comes the depth of real, true love. I think, and I fear like that for some, that weight becomes on another level design beyond. And I was ignorant, naive, because I wasn't thinking I had to be manipulative to keep her, and if anything, I needed to be more rebellious than I already was, because I was even rebellious when I was dumb, but I had a sense to me, that I could get inside people's minds as a child, and you would use it a lot, because I remember at times as a fear tactic, to scare the living hell out of people, to take their fear and use it against them. I was very psychological as a child, even when I was not all the way knowing every single thing. I was committing evil under a format of ignorance, but also I was under a format of evil from others, an unseen dictation that I was crying out, saying, there's dictators in my life, there's dictators in my life, I want freedom, was one of my biggest outcries. And I just wasn't communicating it like that. Instead, I would be like, okay, so this is what abuse is, and program I have to scare the living fuck out of these people to get their attention. I remember doing that stuff, and I would just go right into their mind. And I did this to a bus driver once, a very religious bus driver who was very faithful as in God, and I convinced him that I was the devil. This is probably one of the most evilest things I ever did, and that I was the devil, and that I was going to kill us both and drag his soul to hell, is what I said. And I remember this. I was younger than 10 years old and still pulling this off, and it worked. I was younger than 10 when I accomplished this. I was younger than 10 when I was performing psychological tactics on full-grown-ass adults. And I remember doing this stuff to know, but then I realized, well, wait a second. Well, you know, I went about things in the wrong ways. And, you know, but something else is like, well, you can't fight dictation. You still have to fight dictation, still go against dictation. But you gotta go against it. And it's not like don't be manipulative, because you live in the United States of neurological networking and scientific stuff, and thinking, well, you gotta stop doing that, but then you realize, well, wait a second, this is the United States. And you kind of have no choice but to do that to a certain extent. So it's like to even survive, and what people use it for, to do for it. And I always saw the world as under, well, before the forced paintings of dictation were like I was in a fairy tale world of happiness and adventures. I just wanted adventures, I wanted love, true love, I wanted to run off with a girl, fairy tale land, but then dictation painted the image of psychological war, psychological shit. You need to be employed, you need to fight the boss, you need to be the boss, you know, in psychological ways, and not being able to retaliate physically, and like educated to be more manipulative than your opponent, and kill people with kindness was a very educated thing in school. To be manipulative and psychologically manipulative, it was educated in public schools to basically, it was okay to fight people until they didn't like it themselves. Like, like if you used it, like it was like, well, if someone accused you of doing something and then that you didn't do, for example, or you get caught as a secondhand person, or you know, how many times has someone been accused for something? You know, that's a very common thing I noticed. And when I chose to speak up, I would get in more trouble for calling the teacher out for inaccuracies, for being wrong. I can't hear.
You gotta lower your voice.
Yeah, I'm actually streaming, so you're on here. The world can hear you. All right. So, and yeah, like your voice needs to be lowered down. I still believe I need to be louder and not loud enough. If anything, I'm very powerful. But I just level and. But anyway, as you can see, I've always had a real issue with dictation, or as someone in that, like trying to take your freedom away from you. But also, something later on as an adult, you start to be like, well, you gotta cater to enslavement. Just fucked up. To an extent. The only thing in the end that keeps me from not blowing up under pressure is that I know that they care what they really care about the most, and that I could use against them if I needed to. So it's not like I'm permanently locked in for life, because I could still turn the tables at any moment. understand I got a power, so that can be used for evil as well. Very true. But you'll find that if it's a voice up against dictation, it won't go very, I mean, you won't get in trouble for that long. There's a hook and timer on because again, pro free will ultimately set you free. In the United States, I've come to realize that even the analysts, there's analysts out there, and those are out there that know the truth, that are discovering this, and that what creates enemies, what creates bad guys, what creates shit, suppressed. Good. So, you'll find that money is a tool to ruin people's lives. Not to help, but to ruin their lives. As, why do you think everyone buys a property and forces people? Because they don't give a shit, that's why. And they'll tell you that too. I've met a lot of people who straight up tell you they don't even care. I care, clearly, like, emotionally, just have to program myself not to care. Because it is evil as shit. And it's not a necessity. It's a tool to brainwash people. It's a program, not a necessity.
Goodbye for now.
Spend all these runes. Fear. See that? Smithing stones.
What is it? Still going to purchase something?
Let's sit and think. What the hell are runes for? What do they mean in this game? Item crafting, messages, multiplayer, inventory. It's useless. Like that. Pastime, flasks. Flask increasing. voice command features. I actually quite enjoy them to an extent. Like, I wish they were more. It was more intelligent, or intelligent, but more dictate and manipulate. See, science and program more demanding. I demand doesn't exist. Only the weak. So the emotions. So what the hell to use ruins for? Hey, PlayStation. Station. Good. There's like a guide here or something. The Elden Ring, more than 2 hours sitting there. Pulse 3D. 8 cube. Huh. When the sound controls, I think I already set that up. Okay. So these are the time cards. Activity, tracking. Shit, me river. Death. Blood. And associate yourself. Multiple lovers. Not my thing. The magic of artistry. Being so open as an actor is like asking for directions constantly. Like to have to ask less. A really talented actor, right? Could that be associated with what a really talented actor would be? Is one that doesn't have to be directed because they direct themselves. Glad to be back. So much power, so much power. And Mod Sun is live. Hear me. So help if the sound is on the phone. Look at everyone lose their brains. Let's analyze the minds. Look at the brains getting lost.
I'm about to go. I'm so. Hey. Yay. Yes, green hair is back. I had some life though. I just got engaged and my engagement, all that stuff, was like, that's gonna be forever. Who knows if I'm gonna breathe it forever? I wanna have green hair. But damn, did I miss having green hair? What's up from Minnesota? Yeah. Out here in Canada, I am about to go on tour in Canada. I'm about to leave May 1st to the next day. I'll do like every city in Canada. Go check out the flyer. Opening up my love for Tuesday. Oh, I can't wait. It's gonna be crazy.
That's sick. I'm actually going to on Friday the 13th. He'll probably be there.
Where do we go first? First we go to Texas, and then
I'll be in Toronto. That's the only one in Canada I'm going to.
Texas I go to Red Rocks.
The one I
With my brother
did.
Black Bear, which is gonna be amazing. And then from Red Rocks I go to London or UK to play Slam Dunk Fest. And then after Slam Dunk Fest I go to do a headlining show.
The flashing light. I don't know, lost like battery life or something. It just dies right there, but it sits there. And the light just kills it. The flashing. And he's no longer alive. It just killed him. Killed his live feed. I've like actually had my Instagram lagging all damn day. And I only posted 3 things all damn day, I believe. Well, they're not even. I just edited other people's stuff. I didn't actually. That's none of my art. Well, I put art on top of it. On 2 of them. The other one is just a filter. This one has some of my art, and then that one. This one doesn't have any of my art. This is raw. Well, has a filter. It's it. The Taylor Swift one only has a filter. And a zoom in. I zoomed in. That's someone else's. I have other people's stuff on here too. But I also have my own stuff in the mix. In the variety. It's like there's so much to say, but so, little to, there's so much shit going on. I feel like at some point, the holding to Instagram could collapse without it being upgraded. Because look at this. I don't even know how many that is. I've created so much stuff. And that's only in stories. And then here, there's this stuff that some of it I'm not very impressed with. Other people might like, but I don't really like some of my own stuff here. But then some of it I like. But it's a mixture. This is actually when I was very redneck looking. Like country vibe, rock star mohawk vibe with a big beard. I've had long hair, but I don't actually have any photos of long hair. I do have one that survived it somewhere. I think it's on my cloud with before I knew not to post nudity on the cloud. I believe I am naked on the cloud. I have very old pictures of myself completely naked on the cloud for when I was younger, because it was like around the time I first started using cloud and didn't realize that everyone can see the photos I post on cloud, including my screenshots, because I screenshot lots of things, and I'll even like, oh shit, screenshot something at times, and because you're on a timer on certain things, and it's like I gotta screenshot quickly on things, and then I'll screenshot like an advertisement or something, and then I'll forget to delete the advertisement or some shit, or whatever comes afterwards. Like one of my greatest probably things that I feel like, if anything, is that I follow probably way too many things. It's like I just click follow button way too much. And I think it's gonna collapse if I don't unfollow some people, but then I feel guilty unfollowing because I'm not looking here to gain followers. That's not my main objective. My main objective is to belong, exist, and immortalize beyond life itself, or mesh it with life of everything I have experienced, and have others take what they want from it and do what they want for it, and for free. I never wanted to sell my art. It's like an obligation that I feel like they make you. And if you don't, you'll die. In the United States, at some point, if you don't sell your shit, they make. So yeah. But you'll see that I don't make pretty much anything. Nothing. I've made a couple dollars here and there in the past, but that's about it. I think I make more money off my Xbox stuff than anything else. And it's just Microsoft currency. That which is totally different, and I probably should not be calculating that into the measures, but something about Game Pass that is just really good. And I can see the frames dropping. You see that? The frames dropping? That's what you get for doing quality, trusting the developers on things, because I don't know about you, but if you could see the resolution drop and the frames, the quality of the resolution being up there isn't much quality. I don't understand how you can identify that as quality and being accurate if the frame rates are going to drop in quality mode. See what I'm saying? Then how the hell is that quality? Like, that makes absolutely no sense. Because frame rate should be prioritized. I'm gonna see if I can actually change it. Oh no, see, prioritize quality. But the frame rate is dropping. Decide whether to prioritize visual quality or frame rate. See, prioritize quality, prioritize frame rate. Is there options? It makes no sense that you'd have a resolution mode identified as quality, but yet the frames drop, because in the end the resolution isn't going to be the same resolution anyway. Do you understand how frame rate works? It actually will drop pixelation, the hold on the pixelation count. It starts to smear it loses the holding light photons, and starts to smear your resolution. You can have 16K, but if you don't have it locked on frame rate, the shit could drop all the way down to 720. It's like, so, other words, frame rate is far more important than resolution. Or what they're trying to do. What is the point of it, though? For a next-gen console to have these options and you can't actually have both activated. It's so stupid. It should just do both. I don't know if Mod's stream got back up or not. I never knew who that dude was. If it wasn't for Avril Lavigne, I wouldn't have ever known, but then it caught my interest because I'm Modern X Nation. So you could probably clearly see the reason why it caught my interest. If I attack those eggs, something bad will happen, something tells me. And I am still feel extremely uneducated on what the hell I'm supposed to use ruins for. And if it is anything like their settings, then it isn't going to make sense at all, then it's going to be stupid. So, in other words, just die and spend them on shit. Trash your money. I got a lot of these ingredients, but yeah, I also don't even have anything to brew them with. No potions, place. There's a giant crab thing down there. Like, look up there, there's something all the way up there. It could be a giant-ass monster. Look at my guy glow. They're like another ruin to add to my character. Yet, I still don't recall what the hell they're used for. These ruins. I saw that I could sell the ruins, but why would I want to sell the ruins? If there's another function for them, that would make more sense. To upgrade my character. There's a giant monster. Exactly what did that do? Store ruins. Now I missed all two of those birds. Shit. And there's another ruin. Yeah. Okay. Walk on things. Gold ruin. A lot of gold ruins. Door there. Jump down because then I gotta go. Do have to go through them. And there's another one. All these gold ruins. These creatures. Actually easier to kill. What the hell that thing does over there, I still not sure. A lot of zombies. Stemmed ring. Alrighty then, I'll be ready. Steps. I don't even know. It's disconnected. It might be picking up through the mic. Temporarily back. Stay tuned until after the credits. There may or may not be additional features. Oh. Vanquishing an enemy. Very intriguing. How dumb the AI is. Really, this game is, through my experiences so far, is timing. Everything is timing. You learn the timing, you master pretty much everything in the game. It is like everything is based on timing. I've come to realize that about this game. That it's not really strength. I mean, there is life bars so far, but and I'm sure some of them are way more stronger, but for the most part, it's timing. I don't remember what the hell is run. The guards up there. There's an archer up there. These flying enemies are probably annoying. Kind of swamp and shit. There's probably something in there, like a safe point. Close. Close one. What's this stone slab be about? Is that a fucking board? Hmm. Campground. And this whole fortress of people. That doesn't feel wise to go charging in on them. Godric the Golden humiliated Adam, tasted defeat with a blade of Herculia now on his knees. Begging for mercy. Wow, okay. Probably can't go up there without getting struck by lightning. Hold your hands. Alright, Z. Peace, love to all brains, death to war, life to love.